Hey, thanks for joining us. I don't know how much Liam told you, but we run something called the Wheel of Purpose, and this wheel is about people looking at 6 different areas of their lives and reaching for the stars. And we're having some really good success with it. And Liam was really clear on what a great story that you have. So we're going to share that with our followers and share your success and share some of the really cool things that you do. So I want to tell everybody about you first. J.R. Luna, who I actually know and have spent money with. I don't know if he's ever spent money with me, but he's a businessman in Ventura, California, who owns 3 automotive repair shops. Are they all called Concours Motors?
No, they're all different.
They're all different. At 17, after spending many years learning how to work on cars with his uncle, JR began working for a dealership in the world's biggest auto mall. That job gave him the confidence to pursue a career in the field. He attended a junior college where he studied business management, and in 2006, JR and his wife, Rita, decided to take a calculated risk and open their very own auto repair shop. Today, JR and his wife have 3 shops in Ventura and are taking over a 4th location as of this week. JR attributes his success to vision, determination, education, perseverance, teamwork, leadership, and love. He always puts his customers and community first, and he knows that when it comes to building a business, every ounce of support matters. That is why every year, right around the holidays, JR and his team work unpaid hours to fix a car up that they then donate to someone in need who will use it to improve their life and the lives of others. So, dude, it's an honor to have you here today.
Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely awesome to have me on your podcast here.
Tell me.
Thank you.
Let's talk first about Wheels to Shine. When did you when you started your shops in 2006, when did Wheels to Shine come about? How did it come about?
Well, Dan, business in the early stages was a little bit of a struggle. We had to learn a lot, and we had after the first year, we had a pretty good run of, we just started getting a lot of, very fortunate to have good employees, great customers, and the community has always welcomed us with open arms. And at some point, we decided we started giving to Little League teams, to other organizations that can use the help in the community to better and improve the community. So we started doing that after about a year of being in business. And then after a while, we just decided that wouldn't it be awesome to actually do something that can change somebody's lives? Because, helping a Little League team buying equipment for 4-H and helping the unprivileged children and helping society as a whole, in a small way, it helps out. But then I thought transportation is so important to somebody, and that if we give somebody a car and to the right person, it might actually be somebody's fortune change. It can really make somebody go past that crest of transportation issues. Instead of I pictured a mother that takes a bus to school to drop off their kids at a babysitter, and then takes another bus to school, and then walks to work. Or, I just imagine how awesome would it be if that person just had the wheels. How much more can they do? So we actually just thought that we would give our gift, that our talent, which is working on vehicles. If we give that up and fix the car out of our ability and out of our heart to change some and give it to somebody, it can really change somebody's life, literally. I don't get me wrong, I still want to buy the Little League kids a jersey and bat and all that stuff, and that would be awesome. But this is a lot more. I think
it's life-changing.
It's life-changing. It could be to the right person.
You started this basically around 2007.
That's correct, yes.
So tell me about, how did you go about choosing a person that first year? to give a car to?
So what we did, I got together with my management, my marketing team, and we decided that the best way to go about it is to have people nominate somebody, because there's just no way that we can come up with the right person ourselves. So we put the word out in the community, and we asked people to nominate somebody, that great person that can really use this vehicle and really expand their horizon, perhaps with this car. And the first year, we got about 80 nominations. And then I selected a group of community leaders um, that would read all these nominations, and we actually go through rounds of picking their top three and so on and so forth until we get to the top uh, three finalists. And that's how I started working. And every year we have gotten more and more nominations, because the Wheels to Shine program has grown. This will be our fourth car that we give away, and every single year, when I don't think we're going to be live or in person this year. When we get, normally we gather about 50 to 60 people in our shop, and we have a nice little hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and we have some speeches, and normally when we give the car away, there's not a dry eye in the shop, because this person really deserves this car and can really benefit from it, and they're so grateful. And by the end of this process, then I just, myself and most of the judges, because I'm not a judge, um, we wish we had more cars to give away.
Hmm. Yeah, I bet you do. Tell me, um, of these, 4 cars so far that you've given away, tell me about one person that might have stuck out and what their life was like, and how it was going to change with a car.
Sure. Well, our first vehicle giveaway was to a uh, a person who has just started a business. They started an insurance business, and they were very early in their career and their business starting, and their car literally just stopped working. And she had given up a job to start his business. And she's a mother of three, and she was having some issues with her husband. And the car really came in at a great time. She uses the car now. She was able to keep her business going, and since then she's been thriving. She's blossomed in her business, and till today she still comes in the shop. We still maintain her vehicle. She's a great person, and it's a silver Volkswagen Golf. And if you see her around Ventura, she's zipping around everywhere on it, and I'm just so joyous when I see that
Man,
vehicle
I
moving
so
around town.
appreciate you for that. That is, they say you put your head on the pillow for the last time. You don't remember how much money you made or what you accomplished. You remember the people whose lives you touched. And I am sure you're always going to remember these people that you were able to put together a vehicle for, because that is life changing. I mean, you think about a person either taking a bus to go to work or get around town or go to the market or do whatever. You're talking about 10, 15 wasted hours a week out of their lives just getting on a bus and waiting because they go all over the place. And dude, that's pretty fantastic.
Well, I got to tell you, the car that we gave away last year was to a single mother of three that she took. She would go on the bus to work, and I think she got off at 9 or 10 p.m. Maybe later, because there was no bus ride anymore, and she walked 3 miles home in the
Mm,
dark.
mm.
And she has little ones, and it was just amazing that we found that person, and she was so grateful. And can you imagine, you know, 20 some year old female walking at 9 or 10, 11 p.m.
Every
home
night,
every night? Yeah.
every night.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
to her little ones, that is just, yeah. Definitely found the right person. But it takes a village to not only do this program. Obviously, I couldn't do this program if I wasn't supported by thousands of customers that we have here at Concours, at our locations, and also from my team, that they do a lot of volunteering on this car. They care for it. This particular year, our car was donated, and also to the so many people that submitted nominations. You know, it takes a lot of people to do all this. It's just not myself. So I got a lot of gratitude for everybody that's been in my life and everybody that helps us get to this point, because it's obviously not just one person. It takes a village.
I would hope that when you give your car away this year, that maybe you're able to do it on Zoom and invite everybody. And I work with the hospital, and we ran a wine tasting event one time. And so everybody, we sent them all bottles of wine, but you don't have to do that. You just tell everybody, grab a cocktail or a glass of wine, your favorite
Sure.
beverage, and put it on Zoom and shoot it, and because what you do is you not only do this out of your heart for someone, but you also touch other people and inspire other people to make a difference. And that's what, so many of us, we see someone else do something, we're like, wow, that's so cool. What can I do? And if we can ask that question of ourselves, what can I do? You're just an inspiration. And so I hope as many people as possible see it and look at, it doesn't matter how small it is or how big it is, what can they do to help someone else improve their life? So kudos to you, man.
Thank you.
It's a big deal.
Thank you.
Really.
Well, and I got a couple stories for you. One, I had another customer that was here because we invite all our customers to our previous giveaways. And one of our customers actually gave away 2 of his bikes to unprivileged kids down in the avenue. Like, he had them tuned up, and he went there and found kids that needed bikes and give them away because of what we did.
That
was very inspiring. And the other story that I got, and this is the coolest story of that I can tell, is that during the Wheels to Shine of 2019, it was that day we had the car parked in front of the shop. We had a big bow on top of it. We had flyers, for the last previous weeks saying that this day we're going to give the car away. You're all welcome to come and witness it live and all that stuff. Anyway, this gentleman, his name is John. I forgot his last name, but John was working in Santa Barbara, lives in Orange County. He's driving down the 101 going south. His car has a problem. So he pulls out of the freeway. He Googles us. He comes into the shop. He shows up. He says, there's a problem, something going on with my vehicle. He drops it off. We needed a couple hours with it. He walks down the street to get breakfast. He sees the car. He sees the flyer. And during breakfast, something happened to him. And he came back and said, you know what, JR, what you're doing is awesome. Here are the keys. Take me to the train station. Why don't you give my car away?
No way.
And this is the car that we're giving away this year.
No, serious?
Seriously.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was.
Look at that. Man, that stuff causes people to make a decision on the spot and go, guy's probably like, you know what? It's time for a new car for me. Let them fix it up. Let them set it up for someone. I'm going to go get a new car. My thinking on this was, there's a lot of people out there that don't know what to do with a car sometimes. They don't want to sell it. Maybe a couple of years old. They don't want to go through the hassle of trading it in, doing the whole thing. It'd be great. I'm going to tell people, but we should try to figure out how to get the word out for you because, rather than donate it to a charity that you have no idea where it goes or how it's all about money over there, a couple cars a year could be a really cool thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely find the people, and there's a real need out there for reliable transportation. I mean, we're in Southern California. You couldn't go anywhere without a car.
Right.
You need a vehicle.
Right. Especially here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you want to get ahead, I'm sure that 90% of the job interviews we go on, they're going to ask us, can you be here on time every time? You got to work. You
can't guarantee you can drive your car there.
Right. Absolutely. So it's definitely a life-changing thing, a car.
How does Rita feel about all this?
Oh, she loves it. She doesn't want to read the nominations until the last day, or until the last days, because she's got to bring a box of Kleenex and just start reading them, and she couldn't make a decision. She want to help everybody. Yeah, no.
Actually, it's good for you not to make the decision either, because it can be pretty tough. You want to give a car to everybody.
Right, absolutely. And no, it's been a great experience. Out of all the things that we do for the community, this is the most rewarding for sure.
No doubt. And it's tailored to what you do. So congratulations, and that's well done. And I hope you're doing this 20 years from now. And you got a list of people a half a mile long of that you have helped and you've given back to. So that's great. So I want to switch gears now. Reading your bio and looking you up and getting information, there's a book that I read once called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Did you ever hear of that book?
Oh yeah, Robert Kawasaki.
So what's really cool about that is we all have part of this story, and either we want to work for someone else, we want to work by ourselves. And we don't know how people make that decision that they want to run their own business against all odds or do whatever they have to do. You were working for somebody. What was the impetus? What was the thought for you, the dream? When did you start thinking, hey, I could probably do this on my own?
Well, Dan, it was actually a pretty special moment. I think, because I still remember it. I'll tell you the story. Do I have like
Yeah,
a few
please.
minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I grew up, like you read in my bio, helping my uncle in the driveway, helping him fix cars and that stuff. But I didn't think that was for me. I always thought, in my first college class, I read about CEOs in the oil field and how they were making millions of dollars. And at that age, when I was 17, 18, that's what I thought I wanted to be, a CEO of a company, of these major companies. So I had to get a job pretty young. I didn't have the parents that can just fund me college. So every time I worked, it was in the automotive industry, because I can earn more in the automotive industry than anything else. So I worked at a dealership. I was an apprentice there, and I was pretty good at working on cars. But I kept going to school because I knew that wasn't going to be um,
Calling.
my calling. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hit something and you disappeared. Um, so I knew that wasn't going to be my calling. I just wanted to keep going to school, and I was going to work for a big company at some point. That was my thought when I was younger. And in doing so, I started going to school, and I actually went to college. And in college, I had to do a business plan. And that business plan was to mock up a fictitious business. And Dan, guess what I wrote about? Not automotive. I wrote about making a business, a pet shop. And I was going to have a pet shop, and I was going to have a website, and people were going to order pet food and toys. And I was going to have some vehicles, and the next day they were going to get their product delivered. And this is before Amazon. So, and but doing so, it became very tedious, and I just realized that I didn't know the business. So some way halfway into that 4 weeks of work, I realized that I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna do what I know. So JR's Automotive, these are my customers, these are my vendors, this is my gross profit, this is where I'm gonna get the parts. And every time I thought of someone like my vendors, I thought of somebody. Every time I saw my customer, I saw people. I saw who I like, I saw who were nice to me, and all those things. So at that moment, when I switched gears, and everything was just, instead of being very tedious about the pet shop, when I was doing the auto shop, everything just came to me, and it was just flowing, and it was just going.
Started falling into place.
And for some reason, I saw the forest from the trees very quickly. And I realized that I was running a Goodyear store at the time, and my boss came twice a week just to check on me. And I realized that I can do this. I can do this. I do it already for somebody else. Why don't I do it for myself? And I got paid well. They took care of me. The company liked me. I was not going to go anywhere, but at some point I needed to go on my own and try my own luck. And it was there. And I never, if you'd asked me a year later, you're going to, what would you think if you owned your own shop? I would have said probably not. I don't think so. And it was that class, that assignment that actually switched my fortune around.
How did you come up with the money to start your own business?
So I was lucky enough that Rita and I purchased a home in our early 20s. And by the time we made the decision to buy a shop, we were able to mortgage our house.
Mm. Put it all on the line.
We put her on the line.
Because if it doesn't work out, you're out of the house.
Well, I thought that the worst thing that could happen to me is that my current employer at that point really liked me, and they actually asked me, what did I want her to make? Like, don't leave. So I just thought the worst thing that could happen to me was that I would just get my job back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was I was 26 at the time. And I just thought if it didn't work out, I was young enough that I can come up. I can dig myself out of the hole.
Did you buy an existing business?
We did buy an existing business, and it was maybe not the optimal, but I was probably too naive and too excited to realize it. Also, it was 2006 when, the economy was on its way down. There was a big, I think they call it a mini recession or the financial collapse
right through
of the housing market.
2008 when it got really bad, but
right.
2006 was getting there.
Right. Well, I often say that I was lucky enough to be naive about it, that I just did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And the greatest thing I wish I can say that I was smart enough to pick this industry because it's recession proof. But through the 2008, what happened was that a lot of people didn't want to buy new cars. They were actually fixing their older vehicles, and they hang on to their vehicles longer, which meant for us, that we were busier than ever, because people were not buying new cars. They were fixing their old cars. And
it's absolutely true.
And I started with myself and one employee that stayed during that purchase. He quit the second day because he didn't like the changes that I was making on the business. And I would get to work at 5 a.m, work on cars from 5 to 8, help customers from 8 to 5. And then I would stay from 5 to 10 at night working on cars, because I was the manager, the custodian, the service writer, parts getter. I was everything. And luckily, a few weeks into it, I got an employee that was great, and he's still with me until this day. He manages Concours Motors.
14 years or so, right?
14 years, yeah. He's still with me. And today we have 25 employees across all 3 shops. And, things have gone better than I expected. It has not always been easy, but it has been a great ride.
I guarantee you it hasn't been easy. And like you say, you have to wear every single hat, and you still have to wear every hat. If something breaks down somewhere and there's an issue, you're the guy that comes in. You may have someone else that does it now, but the fact that you're willing to do it, obviously takes a little stress off you, because you're like, I'm going in. Sorry, everybody. I got to step in because, somebody's out.
Yeah. I wouldn't ask any of my guys to do something I wouldn't do myself.
Yeah. So tell me that you're successful because you opened a shop, you kept it open, you added another, you're adding another now. What's the key to your success?
Well, there's a lot of pieces to it. But I think the biggest one is just being honest and being fair with people, not only with my customers, but also with my employees. I feel that I treat my employees and my customers as I would treat any of my family members, as I would want to be treated. Our employees are well compensated. They work well. I have a philosophy of a servant leadership. I am not the guy on the hill yelling at everybody to push.
You're at the bottom of the pyramid.
I'm at the bottom of the pyramid.
You try to hold everybody up.
I'm asking constantly, how can I help you do your job better? I'm asking constantly, how can I help you succeed? Because if you succeed, I succeed, and we all succeed. And I tell my guys, you get better for me, and I will get better for you. So let's move forward.
I think, JR, that in your business, if you can have integrity and clarity and be kind and truthful, I mean, there's not many places we go get our cars fixed that we feel we walk out of there feeling we got a fair deal and they were clear with us. And I mean, over the years, you know, especially if you don't know someone, because what do you want to do when you have a car and you get it fixed? You want to know somebody.
Right.
You want to walk in, like I've done before with you, like my son has done with you. Hey, what's up, Sean? Hey, Dan, how you doing? Good, good. This is what I got. And I know, you know, you're gonna take care of me. You're gonna take care of me. I don't want to stress out about it. I don't want to stress out if you're gonna take me to the cleaners or find something else. And that for many of your customers has to be just like crucial for them.
You know, Dan, one of my proudest things that I can tell you is that I can go to Costco because I see everybody at Costco. You know, everybody goes to Costco. I can go to Costco. I can go downtown to a restaurant. I can go walk around anytime, anywhere in Ventura County, and I see people from any shop, and they say hi to me. And the greatest thing that I can do is hold my head up high, that I don't have to hide from anybody, because I've never done anything on purpose to hurt anybody or to mislead them or to actually just be nasty to. You know, we stand behind what we do. We're honest about what we do, and we're men of our word. So whatever we need to fix, we will fix it for you. No questions asked. We've always been that way, and we don't want to take care of you for that one repair. We want to take care of you for as long as you can drive. So it only shoots ourselves in the foot if we do something wrong. So we definitely want to be as transparent, as responsible, and as fair as we can to all of our customers and our employees as well. It's a simple formula that creates success.
Oh, it's you when you build trust in your business. You know, someone has a big issue. They know I take it over to JR. Let's get it over there, and they just know you're going to take care of them.
Right.
Well done on that, because I've never heard a bad word about your business or anything at all. Maybe Angel once in a while said he got overcharged, but other than that, really never heard anything. But he gets overcharged by everybody.
Thanks, Dan.
So, as much as people would like to believe it, it hasn't been smooth the whole way. So when things get tough, situations get tough, customers get tough. I'm sure you've had some great stories of some interesting customers, because I've had people want to kill me over a $6.95 sandwich, and you're like, dude, are you really? What do you do when things are tough, and how do you keep yourself grounded?
Well, you know, as a leader of a company, I avoid being in those situations, first of all. So most of the 90% of the time, if we're going to go into a situation, I try to fix it even before it becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So this went wrong. Let's just fix it for Dan. Let's not have an issue. And before it even becomes an issue, let's just take care of it, because this has the potential to blow up. So most of the time we do it that way. Now, if there's something that we didn't know and the car left and it became a big issue, we normally take care of it. I normally give the benefit of the doubt to most of the repairs, and we just handle it. It is not worth the hassle. It is not worth that headache occupying matter in my mind or in my guys' mind over whatever the issue is. Most of the time, we just take care of it. Now, there's times that there's some frivolous people that want to take advantage of you, and that's probably the toughest. Because as much as you want to confront somebody who is just a bully, sometimes we have to. And we just stand our ground and we do what we believe is fair. And most of the time, it's not even fair to us. We just handle it as best as we can. And that is just...
And that's the best you can do.
That is the best
you can do. And you can't control other people sometimes. They're going to have their own agenda. They're coming from I used to say to my staff for many years in the restaurant business, back when I was the California Pizza Kitchen, someone walk in the door and they just have this attitude, and you're like, wow. What I learned over time was many of them came in, they had low blood sugar. They weren't, and people with low blood sugar, they're sharp and they're, and this, and then
Right.
They have lunch and they sit there and then they get up and walk out, hey, thanks everybody. That was just great. It's like a completely different guy. I figured out that half of these people are coming in, they're hungry. Right. They don't know that they're hungry. They don't know that they're upset. They're just not happy. They need a table. They want to eat. And that's exactly what they need to do.
Right? Absolutely. Well, I like to believe, and I tell my guys it's kind of a joke, but I tell them there's only 2 or 3 bad people in the world. They just move around a lot, you know.
I love that. I will never forget that. I'm writing that down for 3. There's a huge business lesson in when you were talking that I recognize, and it is we're all going to have problems in business, every single one of us. The quicker you get to a problem, the easier it is going to be to find a solution. If you hide from your problem, if you try to get away from it, if you try to let it go away on its own, it becomes worse and worse and worse. You make that call right away. You make contact. You let that person know. The sooner you do, the easier it is to get out of the problem.
You know, Dan, most of those issues are misunderstandings.
Yeah.
And and once we get clear what the intentions were and what the knowledge was at the time, most of the time they're everybody's okay. Everybody
Yeah.
is just happy to just hash it out and get communication clear and go forward on it. Unfortunately, when it comes to automotive repair, I wish I had a crystal ball and to know everything before we took the car apart or anything that could have been hiding in there. A lot of times it's just not the case. It's not like painting a wall and you tell me what color and I'm going to paint in that color. And if you don't like it, I'll paint it again. A lot of times in automotive repair, there's a lot of thousands, hundreds of thousands of parts in that car. And it can be a little complicated. It's not as simple as painting a
It'd
wall.
be a lot. I never had the skill to work on cars. I once changed a Volkswagen muffler on my own. And after 4 days, I drove over to the repair shop with tinfoil around the space that I had between the muffler and the car to try to keep the sound down a little bit. And I've learned that if you're not good at something, don't waste your time because usually you're going to end up going back and having to spend the money anyway.
That's
Cars
absolutely
are like that with people.
right.
A lot
Absolutely.
of guys out there think I got this. Well, I can screw up a car. I'll work on one thing and I'll have 4 things that will need it.
You know, Dan, I want to tell you an advice that a customer told me. His name is Joe Pulopo. He owned a business here in Ventura for many, many years. He's passed on a few years ago. The guy was great. He was a great, wise old man, and he owned businesses here in Ventura. And the best advice he told me, he said, JR, business is going to be low, business is going to be high, and sometimes you're just going to fall on your face. Whatever happens, don't stop. Keep going. And there's times and events and situations, regulations with customers, with the city, with all these permits that we need to have and regulations and yada, yada, that you almost want to not give up, but you want to slow down.
Yeah.
And I always remember him. Don't stop. Keep going.
Yeah.
And that was probably a great advice.
It's and many books that I've read about very successful people, and usually their greatest success comes after their greatest failure. When they really thought that this was it, something shifted somehow, some way. And most of them will tell the story of when it got really bad and they never thought they could go on again. And they went on to be, a multimillionaire and very successful in what they do. So that's a great lesson for people is don't give up. If you feel like you're connected to your purpose, which is what we do,
right,
is you're connected to your purpose, just keep moving because the universe will support you.
Right. Absolutely.
You're going to come out of left field. I'm sure it's happened to you before. You're wondering how you can pay the bills and all of a sudden something happens and you're like, oh my God, we can make it this month.
So absolutely. When I was younger and I was working on cars, I thought the following. I was like, I'm putting spark plugs on a car. And that was my job. When I owned my own business and I was wearing all the hats earlier in the days, I thought I was building a reliable transportation for somebody, right? Or I'm maintaining reliable transportation for my customer. Today, I read some books and I done, I managed now the shop for 14, 16 years. Now I know that I'm taking a family to Disneyland. I'm not replacing a spark plug. You know,
Mm,
I'm helping them on their vacation,
mm.
or I'm taking this person to work, or we're taking this family on vacation. I'm not replacing spark plugs. There's a lot higher purpose with that, you know.
That's pretty cool. You're getting someone, you're helping a family be safe when they move from place to place. It's like that's a really cool deal because that is more connected to your purpose than just changing spark plugs.
That's right.
Your
Right.
purpose is to make a difference with integrity with people in their automobiles so they can live a better life.
Absolutely. And through COVID, this actually highlighted even more because we're doing a lot of pickup and delivery then because a lot of people didn't want to come out, and I don't blame them. So we would go to their house, pick up their vehicle, bring it to the shop, service it, drop it off, back off to their home.
Mm.
So they don't have to leave, especially the elderly and especially the sick. And for many years, I always knew working on cars and fixing their vehicle is obviously reliable transportation. But through COVID, I realized that it's somebody's safety hatch. We're taking actually kids to radiology. We're taking people to see to do their dialysis every other day. And for some elderly couple, the greatest thing that they told me, that was their safety net. The couple told me, we want to be able to get on this vehicle at 2 in the morning and drive anywhere because they were afraid. They were afraid of what's going to happen with COVID, with this political situation. And this was uh, their safe space, their vehicle. They wanted to get in it and just do whatever they needed to go on a moment's notice. And that becomes a lot more than just a car.
It's huge, man. It's all about having a higher purpose.
Right.
And if people realize no matter what they do, if they can look at the highest purpose of what they're doing, it changes what they're about, who they are, the difference they're
Absolutely.
making in the world. It's just like any job, packing groceries, packing groceries. And if you understand what you're doing, you're helping these people make it easy for a woman to carry her bags into the house so that she can feed her family. That's what you're doing. You're not just
Right.
putting groceries in a bag.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's about the narrative you have behind the job that you do, right?
Yeah. And when your employees share that,
Absolutely.
then they come to work knowing they're going to do something really good today.
We have a meeting every week, and we always talk about we're we're lucky, and we work hard to have positive reviews, and we always go through a positive review, and we always say that Dan, that BMW you worked on, this is what they said, and it just lights up the room with purpose and um, with the narrative that you were just more than putting spark plugs on a car. You know, you did
It's
something
great.
great.
It's great. I think that should be the title of your book. It's not just changing spark plugs.
That's right.
So, where were you born?
I was born in Mexico.
And when did
North
you
of
come to
Baja.
the U.S.?
I was 11 years old.
Okay. So there's a lot of people that are born in Mexico and come to the U.S., right?
Right.
So if a young person was sitting here and listening to you and maybe have dreams of whatever or don't have dreams, what kind of advice do you give to that young person to possibly lead them in the direction of being successful?
Well, you know, I volunteer with the Police Activity League, and I go to high schools and talk to at risk youth, and I try to self myself as an example, as best I can as an example to them that I when I when I got to Oxnard, I used to share a garage with my uncle and my grandparents, and so very
That's where you
modest
live,
means. Yeah.
in a garage.
Yes. So from very modest means, and I used to get a ride to baseball practice, and that's why I know a car is so needed. My coach used to pick me up because I didn't have a car or I couldn't get to practice. So anyway, from being that to where I am today, a lot of times I can't even believe it. The the uh, the amount of um, success I've had because I was supposed to be a statistic. You know, I was supposed to be on the street still, maybe perhaps, and just
Which would have been
sharing.
easy. That would have been easy.
Yeah, it probably would have been a good alibi that this is where I grew up and this is where I started. So, you know, don't look at me that way. That's the hand I was dealt. One of the reasons why I think I was driven to do this is because I left my country for a reason, to become better, to do better than what was there. And and this is America. This is the land of opportunity. And what a waste for my grandma that immigrated here in the 50s and left it all in central Mexico to be here. And she worked the fields all of her life. And for me to not achieve anything,
Mm.
that'll be such a waste for her. It'll be disgrace. So,
Did she see your success?
yeah, yeah, she knows that I'm well,
Is she still
that I do
alive?
good. She's still alive. She's in a home, and I don't think she knows exactly what's going on. She's got a little, um,
But she had a chance at some point in the last 15 years to
yeah,
understand you had your
yeah,
own business and you were doing your own deal. And
right,
she must be
yeah,
very proud.
yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm just so what I would tell a young person is that to expose yourself to people that you want to be like.
Mm.
I think the law of exposure, exposing who you will be the average of your five friends. If you don't want to be like your friends or somebody you hang around with, don't hang around with them because attitude is contagious. You will be the average of your friends. And I tell the kids of the pal this: if I would hang around, um, if I was to hang around with the Olympic team of swimming per se or running, I would automatically be 50 pounds lighter and I would be able to run because that's what they did. They would wake up, eat their nutritious food, very light, and go out for a jog. And they wear running suits and they go shopping for running shoes and they talk about running, and that's what I would be into. And in contrast, if um, I was a person of bad means and they talk like that and they acted like that, I would be a bad person in no time as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe you are who you hang around with and you are what you think. So it is very important to to hang out with yourself with people that have good thoughts, because how you think is how you become. And I was lucky enough to practice sports. I played football and I wrestled in high school. So I didn't have the chance to hang out with a bad crowd
Yeah.
because I was always playing sports. And I think that really shaped me. And that really did something for me. And being in the automotive industry, I hanged around with automotive people. And my boss was a great influence on me. He was very professional and he was very businesslike, and he was sort of a mentor, somebody I look up to. And growing up, even though I didn't hang out with my dad for many years, but he had employees as well, and seeing him treat his employees very fair and very kind, and just being this great giving person. He was a servant leader as himself. Watching him do this give me the tools, and perhaps I didn't know it when I was that little, but I was already getting exposed to being a manager, of having employees. And so I guess to answer your question, hang around with the right person.
There's a
Have
book by Malcolm Gladwell called Blink, and it talks about when a child is born, the first couple years, everything in their life is mommy and daddy. I mean, that's it. Or they have a sister and a brother or a dog. Everything is that. But that once they start going out socially with kindergarten or school, mommy and daddy don't matter anymore. It's little Johnny or Susie that they want to be friends with. That's who the hell they want to act. So I learned this really when Sean was really young. He was still 1 or 2 years old. I read this book, and you've met Sean before. He's just a super good
Oh
guy.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, super guy.
and what we did was we made sure that he was surrounded by kids that we wanted him to be like.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, it worked like a charm. It was like Sean wasn't a big football player, but he was a swimmer. He's water polo. He was an Aikido. The 5 friends that he had from when he was 8 years old in Aikido are still his 5 closest friends today. And they're all good kids. And so for parents out there, put your kid in around kids that you want them to be like. if you don't, and you don't pay attention, they want to be whoever's popular, no matter what they do, good,
Absolutely.
bad, or indifferent.
Yep. Yep. And
Um, what's some of the best financial advice you have ever received?
well, you know, the most common one that I hear, and the one that I adhere to, is not how much you make, is how much you keep. Um, if if I was to make a bunch of money and I spend a bunch of money, it's money in and money out. So I recommend, now that you're talking about books, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great
There's
book.
a great book, and saving for the unforeseen is probably one of the greatest things. Saving money for your future, saving money for your retirement. And for me, what helped me was the reason why I was able to progress and acquire more shops and locations and things, was the fact that I was financially ready for that opportunity. And a lot of times the opportunity shows, and if you're not ready, it'll just pass you by.
Yeah, yeah,
And being ready with a little savings account, you never know what's going to come your way.
that's great. That is great financial advice. Couple things here. You've touched on this, but tell me how important it is creating a positive environment for your team. How important is that in business?
It is really everything. Um, you can only rule with an iron fist for so long. If people are afraid of you, if people are intimidated by you, they will do what you want them to do but only for so long. When you lead them with purpose, when you lead them from a servant leadership, from when you lead them with goals, what are your goals? What are the employee goals, and how can I help you achieve those goals through our shop here, through our business? That opens doors. That just gets everybody rowing in the same direction. And when I mean rowing in the same direction, I mean, if you're on the beach and you're going to row towards a cruise liner that you can see up ahead, we're not just rowing to the ship, we're rowing to the back rear door. It's got to be very specific.
Mm, mm.
And having a common goal really has influenced us and made us very positive on what we do and our purpose.
Sounds like you guys learn a lot from you. I mean, and you learn a lot from them, but your leadership and the way you do your business has got to make a big difference. And probably, there was a time in business when everybody, somebody would decide they're going to leave and do something different, and people get all freaked out. The truth is, though, is that we are building people to move to the next level. And if the next level is a management job somewhere else, or they want to start their own business, you set them up for that. That's okay.
That is totally okay. One of the greatest things that I've done for our business is we started a book club about 3 years ago, and we haven't done it since COVID, I might add. However, we read, um, every Monday morning. We'll come in early at 7, and for half an hour, 40 minutes, we would share a chapter of the book. So we've read How to Make Friends and Influence Others as a team, and we go through a chapter a week. We've read Eat That Frog, but by Brian Tracy. We've read numerous self-help books.
That's crazy good.
Yeah, that is going to not only help us in our business, but is really things for their own lives. It's going to make things better at their relationship with their kids, with their own friends and families. I mean, knowing how to communicate and how things work and how to word things, it doesn't just help me, it helps everybody.
Well, and when you have your community, your team, all reading the same thing, all talking the same thing, you can bet someone's sitting there with his lunch with another guy going, so that chapter last night, how did that make you feel? You know what I mean?
Right,
it's like,
right.
That's happening when you don't know about it. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a great idea. The book club. That's your second book. It's going to be called the book club. We got a lot of books we're going to be writing. Okay. So first, what do you envision for yourself in the next 10 years?
I definitely want to develop leaders and grow our own leadership team even more. And a lot of what I do now is community service. You know, I sit on the board of the board of directors for the PAL. This Wills to Shine program takes a few months, a few evenings off my months, I should say. And I volunteer in several other things with the 4-H, with Little League, and I see myself doing that more. Remember where I grew up. So
Mm-hmm.
I had great coaches, I had great mentors that have helped me get to who I am, and I'm compelled to give back to those, to pay it back to all those people that helped me, because it wasn't just me; it was many things that happened to me.
You know, we share kind of a partnership there with Liam. You know, Liam,
Right?
obviously, pretty cool guy. Does it really, really lots of integrity. Just really fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I happened upon him and Amanda. Do you know Amanda?
I know Amanda. Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Great gal.
right? This
Yeah, great
this
people.
great people, and love working with them. And it's a real
Well,
pleasure. Before we go, where are your 3 shops? We know one is Concord. Where are your other 2 shops, and where are you opening your 4th?
so our second location is Asian Auto Tech. They're near the corner of Main and Callens.
Okay,
They're
that's
1200.
okay. I know where that is. Yeah, there's Lassens is over there, and
Yeah, yep. There's a
yeah.
Big Five, and we're 2 doors down from Big Five,
Okay,
right in that
right
corner.
on the street.
Yep, 1200 East Callens Road. It's Asian Auto Tech. They specialize in Asian vehicles. Our third location is in Oxnard. It's 2368 Oxnard Boulevard. It's literally about 300 yards from the freeway. Oxnard Boulevard and the freeway.
Okay.
It's one of the closest buildings there.
So there's Big Five, or not Big Five, but there's the was Sports Chalet, but BJ is on the left, and you just
Right.
going
You just
down
keep
that
going
way.
about 200 yards. It's going to be on the left-hand side. Yep.
Wow, what a great spot that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of building going around there. That is our newest location. Is just a year old today.
How's that doing?
That is doing good. That is doing good. That got hit harder with COVID than any of the other stores, probably because it's the newest.
Mm-hmm.
And our 4th location is going to be Ojai Valley Imports. That's going to be, we're in the process of acquiring that. We should have that in a week or 2.
Is that on the main drag?
That is on the main drag, just
across from Soul Park Golf Course, basically. That area right there?
That is exactly right.
It was an old gas station or something.
It was an old gas station. It's been a shop for the last 40 years. And we're taking over that in the next few weeks. It should be it's a great shop. It's managed by some great people right now. And the community loves that location, and they love that shop, and I think we're going to do really well. We're actually very, very happy to take over.
And the way you do business with giving back and making a difference, Ojai is perfect for that. They love when people get involved in the community up there.
That is really what I see myself doing, being a part of the community, helping out my fellow humans. You know, being better, thriving. If I can help and motivate, especially I really have a soft spot for these kids that are in trouble, because I was probably one of them back in my early high school years. And sports saved me, but I can see these kids, sports maybe not save them. Maybe it takes somebody, hopefully I can talk to them, or I can share something some experiences with them. I would even bring them to work if they wanted to learn some things of what I do and some of the routes that I've taken. I know it hasn't been perfect, but it's worked for me.
And you can't, it's not easy. It can't be an easy field to recruit for, because there's a lot of people obviously that don't know anything about engines, but you've probably taken people that have been very green and turned them into master technicians.
Absolutely. We actually have each year we take a high school student from ROP, from their automotive department, and we bring them into they take the class here at our shop, and they follow a master technician, and they shadow them for a couple hours a day, and they actually, 2 of them have actually come out to be master technicians and themselves, and one of them works for BMW of Van Nuys, and he's a great success, and he came out of here.
That's pretty cool. And that's what I was talking about before, man. That's what you're doing. You're mentoring, you're growing. And when someone moves on to a better life, don't forget that. You just set that guy up.
Yeah, well, one of the coolest things that happened to me, we just hired a young helper here a few months ago, and he was wearing a PAL T-shirt from the Police Activity League, and I said, "Hi, I'm JR. Welcome to the team," and we said hi and all that stuff, and he said, "I know, you took me to the movies when I was in 6th grade." So yeah, that was awesome.
See, what you do yesterday, man, it grows and it comes back at you. And if you didn't do a good thing, it's going to come back at you in a different way. And if you did a good thing, look at that.
Absolutely.
Probably guy's probably going to be with you for the next 30 years.
I sure hope so. He's a great guy. We can use.
Hey, JR, I'm not going to take any more of your time up. It's a fantastic story. I am blown away by your success and blown away by the reasoning behind your success and your commitment to your own purpose. Your purpose is obviously changing and getting larger, and you're making a real difference in the community. So thank you for being with us today. And we're going to post this on our site, and I can't wait for people to watch it and to be inspired, because you're very, very inspiring.
Oh man, you're so kind. Thank you so much, Dan. I really appreciate
and
you.
Tell Rita congratulations on her success too.
Yeah, she's an integral part. I couldn't be who we are today without her.
We know that. We know that already. Liam already said that. So yeah, JR would be nothing without Rita.
Absolutely, and I second that.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks you so much.
And,
yeah, absolutely.
Your input.
Yep. Thank you, Dan.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.